DJ Smallwood, Slingin Dirt Media, in the shop with tonight, retired driver Chris Yocum. Chris,
yes.
Man, thanks for opening the garage and letting me in tonight.
Thanks for coming. We've been trying to get it together for a while.
Yeah. You know, I really like getting some of the stories from some of the older guys, maybe are in or out of racing and not doing it as much anymore. But, man, you still got some good stories.
Yes, we do. I could tell you a lot of stories. Some are good.
Hey.
Some I can't say.
Right. We can't mention everything.
No, we can't.
So where do you want to start at, man? Tell me what it was like when you started. Where did you start racing at?
Well, we wanted to start at Lawrenceburg Speedway is where we wanted to start, but the river was up, so we couldn't run there. So we went to Florence. My first night ever in a race car was at Florence Speedway. And of course, now Florence Speedway it's dry, slick.
Sure.
So
the opposite of Lawrenceburg.
Yes. So me think I got everything under control. My dad told Jerry, he's like, we're going to start on the tail of everything we're in. So we go in the first heat race, and I'm back there. I'm running. Also, I start passing cars. I'm like, I got this.
Yeah.
I start passing more cars. And the next time I come out of the turn, I said, I'm going to put a little more gas on it. I hit it, and I found out what understeer and oversteer was all about.
Okay.
And I hit one of them ute tires that used to go in the infield pits.
Yeah.
It picked me up, turned me around, and everybody I passed was flying right by me.
What year was this?
91, I think.
Okay. So was the pit still in the infield?
Yep.
Okay, it wasn't moved out yet.
Nope, it's still in the infield.
Okay, so it was a shorter walk to the trailer.
Yes, it was. Well, first I had to catch my bearings.
Right. Figure out where you was at and everything.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Tell me about the car. What kind of car was this?
It's a 78 Monte Carlo.
Okay, big hoopty then.
Yeah, no, that was a little one.
Oh, little hoopty.
That was a little one. Yeah.
Okay.
Ron Ligori had the big one.
RT.
Yes, he had one. I think it was a 75 or 76. I'll tell you a story about that. He had it was number 41. This is before he became the Bridge Inn. Mm-hmm. And it's my first race at Lawrenceburg Speedway. It was my third race ever. So Jeff Harris was leading. Ronnie was second. I think I was running third. And I kept hitting him in the ass end because you couldn't get around him. Car, it took up the whole track. So I kept hitting him. And I didn't know what I was doing. So the final lap, I hit him again, and something broke. I can't remember what broke. I don't know. He told me. But Jeff ended up winning, so I go around after the race is over to give Jeff the old thumbs up, good job, whatever. All of a sudden, Ronnie turned around. He's coming at me the other way. I go left, he goes left. I go right, he goes right. Then he just pulls the car like sideways where I couldn't get around. I was like, this is my third race, and I'm getting ready to get in a fight. So I get out of the car. I remember like playing football. You always keep your helmet on. Keep your helmet on so you don't get your head beat in. So I get out of the car and I go up to him. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. He looked at me.
He just started laughing.
Yes. He got back in his car and he just drove away.
Yeah.
But actually, then me and Ronnie became good friends.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
He gave me pointers and stuff. And his first pointer was, don't ever hit me in the ass end again.
You remember Mike Hacker?
Yeah.
The big yellow 95. Yeah. So I think this was probably like my first. I know it was my first year. I can't remember first or second week out, and somehow I just blasted him going into turn one. I was like, oh man, he's gonna kill me. I'm gonna be squished after this race. I'm getting squished. Man, I couldn't get out of that car quick enough to go over and apologize. Man, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning. And he's like, we're good. He says, you came and apologized. We're good. He said, had you not come talk to me, it'd been a little different story. Yeah.
That's the one thing about it. We all, what you remember, we hit each other, we do stuff, but at the end of the night, we usually just drink a beer.
Most of the time.
Yeah, there was sometimes.
I've got one or two interviews coming up where somebody maybe didn't apologize. So I'm looking forward to that. There's going to be good stories.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was your first year.
Yep.
And in the early 90s. So where did you go to next?
We raced at Lawrenceburg till 92, and then we went to Florence.
Okay.
And then, because Lawrenceburg didn't run that much, I don't know what was going on back then, so they run the street stocks. Because street stocks was usually, it was 12 laps or 12 minutes, whatever came first.
Yeah.
So you really didn't race.
So they had time limits back then?
Yeah. Huh. It was a midnight curfew.
Okay.
So we didn't, the races were kind of, so we start saying, we go over Florence whenever they were running, and we loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it there.
Yeah.
It was, so we ended up there, and then I think 93, it might have been the middle of 92, we started going over there more, and I know 93 we were definitely over there.
Yeah.
And then It was a blast over there.
Yeah, there was a lot of good times. I mean, it took me a while, I know, before I made it over to Berg and got a few races in. I mean, I was just a Florence kid, you know.
Yeah.
One of Jerry's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, grew up there.
Jerry
and
was
just
great.
Kinda,
Jerry was great.
Yeah. Depending on the night, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Depending on the night,
Yeah, my dad had a lot of conferences.
Discussion. Yeah. Jerry was, depending on what mood you called him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Great.
was good, though, but the track was awesome. That track was unbelievable.
Yes.
And it just got better. Every year it got better, it got better, it got better.
Press knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He'd done that, gosh, for way before my time.
Yep. Because I remember, like, before the north-south of what it is now, we used to go over there. We'd get over there at 1 o'clock, and we got on Friday and got a campsite. You can't even walk in or park anywhere at 1 o'clock now.
I'm not going to say that we started the camping trend, but I remember as like maybe a teenager around 14-ish, putting a couple of tents up, and maybe there was a pop-up, pull behind pop-up camper, and that was it. And that was Peanut.
Yeah.
Roland.
Yep.
Charlotte's dad. It's like there was no other campers around at that time,
Because we always parked, like, if you come to the third exit, to the left up on the hill.
Okay.
That's where we always camped.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And we had a blast. I mean, we got it to where, I don't know, we talked about it before, we used to bring corn. A ton of corn. We used to grill it back in the pits.
I forgot all about that until you said that.
We used to grill it back in the pits in 1 year, and the next year somebody else brought something. I think Ronnie Wells would bring stuff, and then I think Sean Tolson brought some stuff. Next thing you know, we had a meal. Yeah, in the pits during the races and after the races.
I was talking with Sean, and we were talking about one night. It was the last race of the year, and we were just pounding them. And the goal was we were trying to fill up Jimmy Patrick's cockpit, and we were doing a pretty damn good job at it. We were filling this cockpit up with beer cans, and I don't know for what reason, Mona or Kim, they had a bunch of hamburger, hot dog buns. They weren't going to keep and freeze these things over winter. It's like, here, you guys can have them. We're like, that's exactly what we need. We need something in us. I don't know why. Somebody threw one, wadded up and threw it. Next thing you know, we're in a full-on bread fight, wadding them up and throwing bread at each other. And it was just, man, that was hilarious. Good times.
I know. That's like when Jerry started doing the hog roast, when he started doing the after parties.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't know who it was. It might have been you.
The pig roast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some guy had the head of the pig and wearing it as a hat.
I'm pretty sure it was not me. That is hilarious.
I remember that. I don't know why I remember that, but it was. I remember that guy just walking around with
the head of a pig on his head. Oh, my God.
I was like, oh,
the things you see at the racetrack.
Yes. That's why we love it, though.
Oh, yeah. There's never a dull moment. So how bad you miss it?
Well, I miss it a lot, but that's why I probably only go to like 2 or 3 races a year.
I was going to say, man, I can't tell you the last time I've seen you at the racetrack.
I don't go to many. I've gone with races with Scott James several times.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. But I really.
But those are good times too.
Oh yeah, they're good times. They're good times. Been to Mississippi with him, Florida. I mean, we've been places.
Yeah.
But I don't go a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get out and you find other things, you're busy. You're busy. You always say, I want to go here. Like last year, we planned on going to the World 100. And
didn't make it.
We didn't make it.
Really?
Because we always do. Me and my son usually always go to the World 100.
Yeah.
So, but last year, just something happens and you can't do it.
Life gets in the way sometimes.
I mean, I love it. I do.
So how many years did you do the Super Dirt Stocks? Were they Super Dirt Stocks when you started?
No, they were
Bombers.
Street Stocks. They were Street Stocks.
Street Stocks, okay.
And then I'm trying to think what happened. I think Dwayne Field's dad came over. He was talking about doing something. Yeah, he was talking about doing something. We were like, yeah, we're in. We'll do it. And then we started changing the bodies and different things like that. And then it came Super Dirt Stocks.
Yep.
And then they were a blast to drive. I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
I think that was a great rule package too. I mean, they were kind of. I'm not gonna say super simple, but man, when you had 8-inch street tire, 3,000-pound rule, and leaf springs and 2 barrels. I mean, there's only so much you could do with that.
They were a good time. The only thing the drawback was you couldn't go to a lot of places.
Yes,
that's the only thing. Yeah, that was the only thing the drawback.
I feel like though back then though, every track was kind of you were locked in.
Yeah.
If this was your track. once you were to their rules, you weren't legal at Florence, or you weren't legal at Lawrenceburg, or wherever. You know, it was every track. But there was plenty of cars back then.
Yeah, they were all because you remember we had A and B mains.
A and B mains.
I mean, that's a lot.
A full field, 24 in each.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was. I mean, and in ours and the A's, usually there was 14 to 15 of us that could win.
Yes.
I mean, you had to drive.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Now, if I remember correctly, I don't know, you may or may not know. Do you still hold the track record of street stocks or super dirt stocks?
Know. I do not know if it's still held because they went to the other. I don't know what they were because they made the rear end different when I quit running super stocks. I don't know if I have no idea because I held it at 19,135, and then there was a night where I think Bobby Lantern went out. He ran like an 18.9. And then Tony ran like an 18.5, and then Sean's brother, I think, ran an 18.3. And I was like, holy.
That's cooking.
And I did an 18.01 something.
Yeah.
That was the new track record.
Yeah, new track record. And if my memory serves, and for some reason it sticks in my mind, I believe that was a Hussman-sponsored night. I'm not saying there's a connection there, but hey.
The NFL sticks, why can't you race it?
maybe not. I don't know, but hey, it sounds good, right?
No, that car, because I remember I bobbled coming out of, because 3 and 4 back then had that little, I don't know how to explain it in it, and because I didn't lift. I had my foot on the brake. I had my foot on the brake, and I ran as low as I could, and I was keeping the nose down. I just kept it floored, and I came out of 4, and it was just a little. I lifted a little bit, and I think I think I could have been in 17. So I really do.
That's cooking for a street stock around Florence.
On them tires.
Yeah, 8-inch street tires.
That's what people don't understand with them tires and the horsepower that we had.
Yeah.
We had our hands full.
Yeah, but it was. I felt like it was an easier. I don't know, maybe not easier, but it was just a good combination. You could transfer the horsepower to the track at that time.
At that time, the track was heavy as heck.
Yeah.
It was hammered down.
Usually Florence is not, well, maybe nowadays, but back then it wasn't known for a hammer down kind of.
I remember you go there and you weren't even full throttle. Like if you were lucky, if you were half throttle once you got to the flag stand back then. I mean, that's what everybody was like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to hammer. No, you don't.
I've probably got a few pictures, and I know everybody's probably got different pictures. It seems like of their car like in the corner, but you can see like a black mirror reflection of the car on the racetrack.
That's why when new people would come to the races to watch this and stuff, they go out and try to stick your finger in that.
They don't get it. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it's neat.
So did you prefer, or was it kind of a week to week? Was you more of a top or a bottom feeder?
It depends. Because like when I did that track record, I was on the bottom.
Okay.
So, but I remember like when I first started going over there, it was when it was still a guardrail, I would go up high and I would let the ass end hit the guardrail a little bit. Then I would shoot down.
Little tink.
You showed me where I was at and I would shoot down.
Yeah. I've seen a few guys can really do that good, and some guys cannot. It seems like that bounce off gives them a momentum.
I didn't say I was good at it, because there was one time I rode the guardrail. I don't know I think we got video of it, but I looked like a slot car because I went up on top of the wall. And I don't know how I was able to come back in. There were sparks flying off the bottom, and I came back in. I don't know how.
That's kind of cool.
It wasn't.
I mean, from a spectator point of view, that had to be kind of cool looking.
Because I thought I was gone.
Did it still have an oil pan in it?
Yeah. I don't know how. I'm serious. I brought it back down. I was like, hit it, and I was like, everything's good. Let's go.
Rock on. Did you have a favorite car? Did you have many cars? I mean, how many years did you do this street stock, super dirt stock?
Let's see, 91 to 2000. So what is that? I did street stock, and then that's when we moved to late model. It was 2000.
So 2000 was your first year in the late model.
Yeah. I mean, there's many times that I wish I would just stayed in the street stock because the late model was a different animal.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, we did our third year. We were finishing in the top 5 places. Had victory in Whitewater, and we finished second to Whitney at Lawrenceburg one time, and it was like we're getting it, but it didn't feel the same.
Right.
Because you're working your.
Yeah. It's hard when you get out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
And now to make something else get in that same comfort zone you just came out of.
Yeah,
I get it. Kind of like playing junior high ball, going straight into varsity.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I wasn't quite ready for that.
I remember one time I lined up my first year. We still had the street stock motor in we took our street stock motor and put it in the late
That's
model.
what you put in the late model?
Yeah,
Okay.
our first year. And we still ran pretty good, but I remember, I think one time there was O'Neill, and I think O'Neill, Gill, and other people beside me. I'm like, whoa.
Whoa.
I'm like, it's for real now.
This is serious business, right?
Yep, it was. But I sometimes I think we should just stay in the street stock. I really do. But
so I remember when I made you talk about same motor from street stock to late model. When I went from street stock to modified, same motor, I bolted on a 4-barrel from the 2-barrel that we had. And man, I thought I had a late model motor in that thing. I was like, I could not believe the difference that a carburetor makes.
Yeah, it was neat. Then, like when racing late model, then Dargy, we went up to Dargy. Dad built all our motors from when I started. He could build a piece.
Yeah,
they could do it. And then we've seen that we needed to step it up a little bit more. And Dargy,
you need a bigger stove.
Yeah,
there were guys that had a stove. A heater in those things.
Then Dargy built us one, and that's when we started competing a lot.
Okay.
More. So
yeah, I remember there was when I started. So you moved to late models. That was my first year. It was 2000 in the super dirt class.
Yep.
Good connection there.
Good car.
Man, it was a great car. That car was awesome. I ended up selling that car for almost what I paid for it.
That was a good car.
It was a good car. The biggest mistake I made with that car was there was I can't remember if it was 99 or 2000. There were some rule changes. And I want to say they may have lightened them up a little bit somewhere along the line, and that's when they started letting them run Burt transmissions, and then they moved to, a late model body is now legal and all that. Well, I didn't jump on that train right away. I left it the way it was, and it worked great. So then the next year I'm like, okay, I feel like now I'm okay enough where I can start advancing the car now that I've learned a little bit and what to do. Worst thing I ever did was try to lighten that thing up.
Yeah,
it never handled right.
Nope. Our cars were always heavy.
Yep. I was probably 50 to 100 pounds heavy when I had it.
We were usually 100. We were usually 100, 150 to 200 heavy. Mm-hmm. That's the way it was, because we would do it like we run a while, and then sometimes we sit there, we question ourselves, and we have Rich Shepherd come over. Rich Shepherd would come, and he would tweak with the car a little bit to make sure we're still on the ball game, and then we go at it. But we always ran a heavy car.
So where did you come up with the number 18 at?
That was my football number, my sports number.
Okay.
I was always 18.
All through school?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like David McWilliams was already 18, and then so I was like, well, I can't just be 18, so I'll be C18.
So when you got, David was already in the modifieds, and then when I bought your car, there was no 18s left. So I just took a razor blade and cut that C right off. Guess what? Now I'm number 18. That's how I got my number.
There you go.
So the funny thing about that is, when I went from, I think I did that class for a few years, and then when I went and it's like, all right, I'm going to get a modified. So I ended up buying a car from Kevin Hartman, which was number 18 as well. So I'm like, hey, I'm sticking with this. It's meant to be. Hey, so that worked out for a little while. I did a few other numbers, but just I don't think I ever had the luck that I did when I had the 18.
It's the one thing. That's what I wish we could travel more with the street stocks. That was the thing. Yeah. Because I loved Florence, but it was like once you start running, you're like, I want to go somewhere else.
So would you have been legal at Eldora at that time?
Yeah. So we actually ran at Eldora.
Okay.
Yeah. We went there one time, and actually we did pretty good. Went down there. The drivers inspect the cars, because Earl was there, and Earl was like, the driver guy inspect your cars. He talks, and he was like, we're looking, and we had a wood spacer plate. I have no idea why we had a wood spacer plate.
Yeah.
I do not know. I have no idea this day. Dad put it on there. My uncle Bud did it. Yeah. We put it on there, and the guys were like, he's got a wood spacer. And Earl comes over and is like, boys, if you're afraid of a man with a wood spacer plate, you don't need to be in my track.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's what it was. But we ended up, I think we ran 4th and 5th up there.
Really?
My first time up there. So, but the funny story was, we'd go out there, and Earl, how Earl was, he was like, if I'm watering the pit road, stay out of my way.
Yeah.
Some poor guy in a modified backed up, and
no.
it stalled. And he couldn't get back started. So Earl was coming with the water truck, and he goes around him, he comes back, he backs up. The guy's still trying to start it. He pours the water on the guy while he's in the cockpit trying to start
soaked him. I could so see Earl doing that.
Holy cow.
Just get out of my way.
But that was him. That's how he was.
Yeah. So I took that car to Brown County. Do you remember what transmission you had in that thing? Was that like a Muncie 4-speed maybe?
Yes.
That's for some reason I feel like that's what it was. Yeah. So we went up there. A few of us went up. And Florence rained out early, and we go up there. And I don't think this. Maybe it was my first time there. We went to old Brown County out in Sardinia.
I've been there. Yeah, I got a story about that one too.
Okay, we'll get to that. So we're pulling into place, and it's just kind of sprinkling a little bit. We get in and everything, just enough to get in the gates and paid and everything, and we just get a downpour. As soon as they call it, quits raining. Something comes out. I mean, not even 5 minutes. It's like it downpouring for not long at all. Didn't hurt the track. I mean, it was a little wet, but so we asked the guys, like, hey, man, can we go and just make a few laps? You know, never been here before, whatever. And he's like, yeah. He said, boys, that ambulance just went out the gate, so just don't do anything stupid. I was like, all right. So I go out, and, you know, I didn't have the right gear. I had Florence gear, you know, and Bill Blair had done my motor for me. And he said, man, just stick around the top, you know, try to keep your RPMs up and just don't do anything stupid. All right. Went out and turned a few laps, and everything felt good. It's like, oh, yeah, it's kind of cool. Well, yeah. So I pull in and had the open trailer. Actually, I think I had the open trailer I bought from Sean Tolson, that white one that he had. Yeah. And so Sean was there, and Spencer Watson was there, and, you know, Spencer had this high-dollar piece up in the box, and this Warrior-built car, man. I love giving him crap about that. So he comes up to me, and he's like, what do you think, D? You want me to take her out? He said, you already got her all muddy up. Mine's all clean in the trailer. And I was like, all right, yeah. So if you want, whatever, just put your fuel in it and fix whatever you break, you know. So Spencer knew I still had the Florence gear and whatever, and he thought the hot setup was going to be the running in third gear instead of fourth gear. And, man, he was just whining this thing out all over the place. I mean, he was all over the place with it. He might tell that story a little bit different, but he was all over the place. Smooth. Yeah, no, man, he was whining it out. I'm like, oh, God, what did I do? So finally, he ended up sitting on the front stretch. He had snapped off the output shaft in the clutches. So he said, well, just bring her over, drop her off the shop. All right. Next day, I took her over and dropped it off. Next week, on Saturday, he was ready to pick up and go to the racetrack. I never missed a beat, but that was my first experience. So the second time we actually went there and got to turn some laps. I got to race it. Yeah. So he come up, I think his name was Crawford. He looks the car over, and he says, well, I tell you what. He says, they're going to bitch and they're going to cry. He said, because you got a clipped car. I'm like, yeah. He said, well, these cars that I was supposed to be racing against had jack screws on all four corners and big tires and 4-barrel carburetors. And I'm like, man, I'm not going to be compete with those guys. He says, no. He says, so what they're going to do is they're going to bitch and cry. They're going to make you run with the late models. I was like, man, are you serious with these 8-inch street tires and a 2-barrel carburetor? He said, well, don't be too upset. He says, because you are just enough. He said, you're automatically in the field. He said, I got just enough cars. Your starting pay is what they're racing to win for. I'm like, I'm okay with that. You just bought me. I'm sold. So they did. They bitched and cried. And they kept wadding them up. I mean, every lap, it took like 10 starts to get in. By the time it was said and done, I think I may have finished 5 laps down, but I finished in the top 10.
There you go.
Man, I made money that night. I was like, this is all right.
That's a good night.
That's a good night. I'm like, these boys at Florence ain't never going to believe this. I ran with the late models and kicked ass.
Yeah, that happened to us one time. We went to Portsmouth, and we thought we could run with the street stocks.
Yeah.
And we went there, and they were like, nope, you got to run with the limited lates. Mm-hmm. And we were running third in this heat race, and I got a flat tire. And
was this the same car?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that an old rocket chassis, clipped?
No, we built it.
You built it?
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, we built it in my Uncle Bud's garage.
Huh. Interesting.
Yep.
I thought that thing had a rocket tag somewhere on it,
made
like
a
roll cage or something. Really?
Yep.
Man, that was a good car.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You did good.
Yeah, we built that thing.
So your Brown County story. Tell me about your Brown County story.
So Florence, north-south, we won that night, and then Florence always takes that week off, and the promoter for Brown County was there, and he comes over and he was trying to get a bunch of us to go. And he's like, I'll pay your tow money, this and that. And I'm like, all right, here we go. And then I think it was me and Sean Krebs might have been the only ones that went. I want to say Dan Horde might have been there, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But we go there, and I go to this driver's meeting. Next thing I know, these people are fist fighting at this driver's meeting.
At the driver's meeting?
Yes. And I'm like, what the hell did I just get my ass into? And I'm like, holy cow. So they're fist fights, everything, tell us the rules. We got this heat race, and we just put my uncle, he was the Hussman guy, he just put a body on the car the week before Florence North South, and the car, we didn't have a dent on or nothing. Yeah. I go there, these guys start beating and banging me.
Oh, yeah.
And they were just destroying me. I mean,
it's like a rolling demolition derby.
They just start hitting me, and I'm like, oh, here we go. So I started getting aggressive. I ripped this door off this guy, off this one car.
Oh, my.
I did, because it was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, we ended up finishing, I think we did third and third that night, and he gave us $50.
$50?
Yes. And this is when we had the old brown Ford truck. I don't know if you remember, four-wheel drive. It has the Windsor.
Yeah.
So basically, he gave us $50. We made it to Eastgate. We got gas and White Castles, and that was our $50.
Oh my God! Damn, well, gas prices was probably a lot different back then, but still, yeah. That's a long.
Yeah.
That's far from. I'll pay your tow money.
Yeah.
And everything. Wow.
Yep.
Didn't make any friends that night.
No. Well, of course it closed, but we never went back after.
Yeah.
But
So what year did you quit racing the late model?
2003.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you went a little longer than
It was
that.
2003, 2004, something right in there.
Where all did you take that thing to?
Brush Creek, Whitewater.
That would have been the old Brush Creek.
Lawrenceburg.
The D-shaped trioval.
Yeah, because if you
little Talladega.
you got to keep it matted or you're pushing up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We ran good at Brush Creek a lot. We finished top 5 there a lot.
I ran way better at Brush Creek than I ever did at Florence.
Yeah. Well, actually, we started going to Brush Creek a lot more than Florence.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I was better. I was better out there than. I can't explain that one, but I was definitely better.
I just think it's because I was better on short tracks. Like if I went to Lawrenceburg, it was totally different driving for me. It was, I don't know, because I started there or what it was or the speed wise. I mean, I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
I don't know if I was just that bad at Florence but it seemed like anywhere I went other than Florence, I was better there than I was actually at Florence.
Yeah. Florence takes a lot of finesse.
It's technical.
Yes.
It's still technical.
That's like when you finished in the top 5 at Florence back in the day, you were like, you accomplished something.
Yes. I remember from you guys and others, and I was always told, it's like, man, if you can go to Florence and run good, you're going to run really well at other places.
Yep. I believe that.
Yeah, I couldn't, obviously, I did, but not as good as I did other places.
Florence it's a neat track.
Yeah, it's neat. It's got character, and nowadays it's a way different animal than it was back then. It's still an animal. It's just a different type of technical now.
Yeah.
Some guys will say, no, it's not technical at all. You just floor it and don't lift.
Yeah, it's different, but
Josh Rice hasn't quite given me the full setup yet, so I know it's something like that.
I just hammer down.
Yeah, hammer down. Scott, is that about right? Just hammer down, replace the decking bar later? Something like that, yeah. Florence? Yeah. Talk about Florence. The cushion track. Yeah, they didn't have so much of a cushion back then.
No, it was slick all the way up.
Mark Marler and Tim McCready? Yeah, it's a different animal now than what it used to be. But still fun stories.
Oh, yeah. They're done better. It's, like I said, there's the people that you met there at that time was unbelievable. I said, Little Kay, she married David Cook.
Yeah.
She would have our times wrote down, and before I didn't have to walk up nowhere. She would have me where I was in the heat race.
Yeah.
Come back and visit and say, Chris, this is where you're at. And I'm like, all right.
This is awesome.
You didn't have to leave or nothing.
Yeah.
It was just great.
Yeah. Man, those were good days. I'm not saying that there's anything different. It's obviously it's a little bit different, but yeah, man, it was the atmosphere was. Yeah. I don't know if people just felt like you were tighter back then. Like Sean, we were talking when I did an episode with Sean. It's like, man, we hung out and had fun and partied after the races back then. Nowadays, it's like, man, people can't get out of there quick enough.
They want to go. See, they're lined up before all the races are over, and it's like, no,
I got beer to drink.
Beer, yes, it was, and with you, I mean, everybody. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was just like you said. It was just totally different. I don't understand it, but it is the new world, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I got a couple more things I want to make sure we cover. Give me your, obviously you can do it now. Give me your biggest cheating story that you got by with.
Honestly?
Come on, man. Everybody says, honestly, we didn't.
I'm telling you, probably the craziest thing we did was we had an aluminum manifold and we put metal flakes on it and painted it.
I've heard that. Not about you, but I've heard other people doing that.
We didn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Just hammer down. Yeah. I mean, it was.
Bill, what you brought? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that was probably the cheapest thing we did.
Yeah. What size motor was you running in that thing?
You'd be surprised on the one was a 337, and we had a 406.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I put in that thing to start with. Was 406. Yep. I mean, it wasn't like crazy radical.
You didn't need it all.
Yeah, you didn't. I use the same block for 15 years. Nice. I had a 15-year career in and out, modified, super dirt, whatever. Had the same block for 15 years.
Well, that's kind of like when we did the late model. It was a 2-bolt main in the street stock. And then we made it a 4-bolt main. Same motor, just made it a 4-bolt main.
Yeah. Huh. So this may be a multi-point, multi-answer question.
Okay.
Give me your biggest rival from both classes.
Oh.
Did you have anybody you feel like, this week we're going at it this week, or man, I owe this guy this week?
Well, I would say Bobby Lantern in the street stocks when he hit that 22 car. Because there was times there was one time I was leading, and the next thing you know, I'm like, I got it, and then he passed me. And then the one time I had it. I had the race, and I'm going in the 3, and the yellow flag comes out. I'm like, just throw the checker. And he didn't. And I'm like, all right, I was trying to see where Bobby was at. So I was like, I want to stay here. Next thing I know, Bobby went low. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. I finished second to that guy.
More than you can count.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Late model, I don't know, because, I mean, we were so inconsistent.
Yeah.
There wasn't a big rival.
Yeah. There's a lot of learning. Big.
Yes.
Again, a different animal you were getting used to.
Yep. Yep. I mean, we had fun with it, but like I said, it was
more work than it was fun.
Yes, because street stock, you could park it, come on maybe Wednesday, wash it, bolt check it, make sure everything's good,
right,
and then do a late model. I'm washing it on Sunday, and then we're coming through the week, and I work construction. My brother was a diesel mechanic.
Right.
Dad was a diesel mechanic.
Now, is this the shop you guys raced out of back
then? The late
then?
model we did.
Late model you
did?
did?
The street stock was out of my dad's on State Route 128 under the house.
The place where I picked the old car up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice little man cave.
Yeah. Well, we quit racing, so I had to make something out of it.
Well, it looks like it definitely serves the purpose. I'll make sure I get some pictures and show everybody some of the alternate rooms around here. This is pretty.
Yeah, a lot of beer gets drank in here.
A little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. That's good.
Yep.
Anything else or any other stories we need to make sure we cover?
Yeah.
That we can say on camera.
There's some good ones. I mean, there's people that like Jeff Harris was a big influence in my racing career.
Suitcase.
Big, yes.
Yeah, yeah. He's a good dude,
His
man.
whole family. So, and then my brother Chuck helped me out a ton.
Yeah.
Racing it. Because it was supposed to start out, we were going to take turns.
Oh, okay.
Driving.
Yeah.
But when I totaled it the first night, they were like, we got to stick his butt back in it. Or we'll probably never even, and I got in it. We ran the second night, we ran pretty good at Florence.
Yeah.
Then that third night was at Lawrenceburg, and we ran pretty good, and we just kept it.
It just stayed that way.
It just stayed that way.
Yeah. That's generally how those part-time driver situations work out. I know my cousin Matt, him and his buddy, they were. I don't think I got them modified yet. I was still in the Super Dirt, and they were going to buy a car. And he called me up and said, man, we're looking at this car, and, man, it really looks like a good deal, and, the motor, everything, and, but, the motor sit back and all this. I'm like, man, I said, Matt, that thing don't sound legal to me. I don't know where you're at or what car you're looking at. I said, man, that just don't sound right. I said, let me make a few phone calls. I said, tell this guy you'll get back with him. So I think I called Big Larry Moreland. Yeah. And he says, yeah, Dave Roberts has got his car for sale. I said, give me his number. So he gave me his number, and I called Dave. Dave says, yeah, man, yeah, here's all this, and this amount of money. And I said, when can I bring my cousin over to look at it? So we took them over. They looked at it, and man, they just fell in love with it. Then they're going to do the partner deal too. One's going to drive 1 week, one the next week. I'm like, yeah, good luck with that. I already know how that works, but good luck with that.
You said Dave. Dave broke his drive shaft one night. He came over and he borrowed one of our spare drive shafts. And I ended up finishing second to it.
With a borrowed drive shaft from it.
If he wouldn't have had that damn drive shaft.
Yeah. So, yeah, and Mark was tough too.
They were fast. They got fast.
Yep. He I can't remember what car he got after he sold his car, but I mean Matt did fairly well in that piece. I mean he's everything that Dave said, man, it was gospel. I mean they wrote down and they stuck with it. Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily stuck with my program as well, but hey, I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, that's like we said, that class was competitive. I mean, very competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good time.
Do you think that kind of class would work now with maybe a 602 motor, just a crate motor?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Because I always said if I would get back in it, I would do a crate, or I would love to drive one of them, the Nesmith street stocks down south.
Yeah.
I would love to do one of them.
Yeah.
That's what I would, because I think
Interesting.
It's basically crate.
Yeah.
But it's a street. I know the suspension's a little different.
Right. So what do you think about the sport mods or the B mods?
I don't know.
It's like a modified with a crate motor in it.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I haven't been over that much to watch it.
It's a different animal.
You can tell the difference. I mean,
yeah.
That's the thing. We're all race car drivers. That's the thing. You want to get into this, but you're like, I want to go faster.
I want to go faster.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why, I mean, it is. Everybody's like, it's a drug. The people don't understand
Bad.
it.
It's a disease.
Yes.
It's a bad disease.
You get in it and you're like, okay, I want to go faster. And what do you got to do to go faster? You got to spend more money.
You got to spend more money. Get better and spend more money.
Yeah. But we've talked about, I thought about putting my son Tanner in one, and we sit there and
there you go.
We go through it and they were like, no.
Maybe not. It costs how much? Maybe not.
No.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Take him go-karting. Go-karting.
No.
It just opens it up.
Yeah.
That's how it begins.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Did you do any go-karting as a kid or anything growing up?
Nope. I did nothing.
Nothing?
Nope. We went, long story short, when I was 11, well, my dad had cars back in the 60s.
Okay.
So he had like Pat Patrick, Danny Eichler, Denny Harris. He had, a bunch of people driving.
Still winning races.
I know. My first feature win was against Danny Eichler. It was at Lawrenceburg, yep.
Damn, he's still winning races.
So, and then we started helping, my dad started helping Ross Smith with him and Denny Harris, the JJ2 car, when I think I was 11, I want to say. That's how I met Jeff Harris.
Okay.
And then they did that for a couple years. And then we got out, and I started playing sports a lot. And then one time, Jeff, my dad and my brother started helping Jeff. And they were going to Whitewater, and I went up and watched him one time. I was like, this is pretty cool. And then my dad was like, would you be interested in it? And I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And
hell yeah.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah. Then we got a 78 Monte Carlo from Union Auto Parts, and started going.
And you were how old, you said?
I was 21.
Oh, okay. So
I was in between. No, I was.
Yeah, okay. So you got out of school and played all your sports?
Yeah, played all my sports. I was playing traveling softball.
Yeah.
So, and then.
That wasn't too hard to give up, was it?
No. Well, actually, it was.
It was. Yeah.
That's a good time, too.
Yeah, it was. I did, when I graduated high school, I found myself 3 nights a week on 7 different leagues playing softball. And then I was like, all right, let's go racing. I'm done with that.
Yep, it is. You get addicted to that, too. It's weird that it's softball. But
it's softball. It's softball.
Yep.
Cool.
It's true.
All right. Anything else we need to cover, mention, think?
I'm thinking good.
We're good?
Yeah, we can do.
I'm good.
I think it's something we can do part 2.
Yeah, we can do part 2. I think there's a few other guys that may need a part 2.
Yeah.
Also, hint. Maybe Shark Week, something. I don't know. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. We're going to wrap things up. I'm throwing checkered flag. Hope you guys enjoyed this. beer drinking session with me and Chris Yocum. I know Chris had some great stories. My first race car came from Chris, and man, I had a lot of fun in that thing too, if you didn't already tell. But so anyway, we're wrapping things up. Hope you guys like and enjoyed. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Don't forget to share. Tell all your friends, and we'll see you at the track next week. Thanks.